how's it going? Hey, Dorothy. How you guys doing over where you are? I hope not too bad. Uh, per the weather report up here, it's sunny and they're expecting another heat wave. I'm going, again, I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of it. When I was in church yesterday, our AC was not working very well. um, which made my pastor not very happy. So whoever donated the money to put in the AC, they're going to contact the vendor and see if they can get it serviced. Because we're going to need it. Anyway, I hope all's well. I'm chewing on a cough drop since I've been fighting allergies. You know how that goes. So anyway, I hope you're having a good morning. Yeah, it's 78 here. I understand, I'm going to mention more of this later on my rant. I stay in parts of Dallas, Las Vegas, and Carlsbad, California, getting delusion rain. I wish it was more spread out, not so localized there. It's just spread out pretty much, not, dump and everything. Dallas got 3 months of rain in one day. That's a little too much. So I feel sorry for them, I really do. I mean, they need rain, but all at once. So anyway, I just hope Earth settles itself down some more. Of course, with all the volcanoes that are erupting right now. Got one over near Malaysia. You got one in Iceland that's ongoing. Got one of those waking up. Let's see. What's the other one? There's 2 other volcanoes that are causing problems. And anytime when you have a volcano that does a big major eruption, it does unsettle the weather. It really does. So and so you guys know I'm in the process of revamping my store, and I'm getting help with that, and so it'll be ready in about next week sometime. So what it does, I will my advertisement will be a little bit different, much better. Now, you see there that the basket that I got for Nancy, and I know she loves it. It's doing its job, which is a good thing. So, okay. As you can see in my title, new week and more GOP getting into trouble, which is true. There's more and more getting in trouble. And especially other enablers and aiders of Trump, they're getting into trouble because many of them broke laws, federal laws. Trump's a person in his company. He pleaded guilty for all the tax fraud and other things. And good, I'm glad to see that, Nancy. That's good. So anyway, that guy's going to go to prison over that. The person I think really should go to prison is he who shall not be named, and you know who that is. I'm tired of hearing about him. I really am. So, anyway, of course you heard about the banned book issue that's going on in the South. in Texas and everywhere. Around here in the other states, they don't have that as much. Okay. The American Library Association fighting back against that. It said books should never be banned. It should be left up to the person whether they want to read it or not. Kids should not be forced to read something they don't want to read, or they should be allowed to read that book so they could broaden their horizons. There was one such librarian that stood up to the school principal and stood up to the school board and say, look, books are out there for a reason. Everybody has the right to read anything. And the only ones that we restrict is we don't want porn or anything else in there, but the other ones we don't want restrict, or those are written about people who are marginalized. We need to learn from history. And so their American Library Association promotes Banned Book Week. And this happens in September every year after school starts, and encourages kids to read books that were banned, supposedly banned. And say, hey, they can make up their own minds. Let them make their own minds and understand what's being written. And you need to stop hiding history. It's not going to help anybody. And encourage the kids to read classics and read history, all kinds of history, whether it's ancient history or Middle Ages history or current events or events that happened last century, which is, you really think about it like, wow, it is, because we're in the 21st century. We just left the 20th century about 20 years ago. So we're in the 21st century. And so we need to embrace history and learn from it. We don't necessarily need to be wanting to go back in the past. No, we always want to move forward. But we need to learn from our mistakes in the past. Okay? I remember when in the 70s, late 70s, when I started working for Boeing, finally it was implemented to let women have credit cards. And they don't need boyfriend or husband or dad's permission to have a credit card. But why they would not allow women to have their own credit and their own bank account, I can't understand. I go, what's wrong with that? Really? And we need to get rid of this sexist attitude that's going on. Okay? Even yesterday in my pastor's sermon, he talked about women that should have their heads covered and everything else, and men don't and everything. He says, you know, that really sounds a little sexist. It really does. I mean, what difference does it really make? And you couldn't really understand the times back then why that. And as my friend said, well, at that time it was really run by men. Well, men need to wake up. So, anyway, my quote for this, what people think about, without history, the human race would never, without history, the human race is nothing. And that's my philosophy on it. Because without history, how are we going to learn from it? And if we don't learn or keep record of history, human race wouldn't survive. We just keep repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again, you know. So, that's my main philosophy on that. course, you know, with all the wild weather and Mother Nature being, say, a little bit pissed and upset, you know, with all the volcanoes that are going on right now. Remember the very first volcano that erupted about close to a year ago? The Falun volcano, which they nicknamed Bob over in Iceland. Well, it just erupted this last Wednesday. It came back to life, and because there were brand new fissures and new volcanoes erupting and recreating domes and everything else a little further down. Like he said, it was like a quarter of a mile down from the original volcano they erupted. The capital and the officials are really keeping an eye on it, and they're trying to find ways to circumvent the lava so it doesn't go anywhere near the cities, near the airport, and if they could get it directed to go in the ocean, that'd be great. So, at least they are trying to find ways of trying to correct, control it. Hawaii has a little bit more practice in doing that. Mauna Loa has always been active. And so they tried to develop a lot of flues and everything else, that concrete that is lava resistant, and then send it down, so like a river to send it down into the ocean, and halfway for it to go to the ocean. Now we're going to avoid other communities. I think it was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, it wasn't that cooperative. And it did take over. Just a minute. I heard a bell ring. But anyway, they had a lot more practice there. But Mauna Loa did destroy some property in that one eruption. I think it was back in 2012 or 15. 2017, I think it was. So anyway, if you go to the USGS, the U.S. Geological Survey, and go into volcanoes, and it'll show the history of volcanoes and when they erupted, what's more active, what isn't active, what volcano has not woke up. The one that they're really worried about is the Yellowstone caldera, and that one erupted well over 200,000 years ago. But I don't think it'll do much damage because there's not that much building up underneath it. So, the other one they're worried about right now is Mount Rainier. Last time that erupted was back in 1841. So they're keeping an eye on it too, because it can, what they call layers, which is mudslides and hot ash and everything else, going down the mountain in certain communities like here, like Orting, Sumner, Puyallup, Eatonville. They're worried about damage on that too. So, anyway, in this topic, Dallas and Las Vegas and Carlsbad has been hit by heavy, been hit by heavy rain, and mainly rain is accumulations like 3 months of rain, for example, 3 months of rain in one day. That's a lot of water. I mean, I know we need it in a lot of areas, but one day is just a little too much. It should be spread over a month. You know, rain for a couple of days and stop for a while, and then rain again for another couple of days. And, you know, spread out the whole area, not just accumulate on one area like Dallas area, Dallas Fort Worth area, Las Vegas, because that's pretty flat land. Generally has nowhere to go. And also Carlsbad. They were able to get those that were stranded there when the flash flood happened out of there. So, and then of course all the electrical storms that are going on too. We only had one thunderstorm, and that was a couple of weeks ago here. People need to be smart about that when it comes to thunderstorms. Once you hear thunder, you need to take cover. Stay inside, take cover, don't stand under a tree. The trees are natural lightning rods, and when the ground is energized, it'll reach you. So you want to stay inside, stay away from windows. I mean, you can look out the window, but don't stand next to the window. Give you an example. I remember we were just finishing up horseback riding. We were talking. We were under the covered area between the house and the garage, and we had a lightning storm. And my sister was kind of stupid about it. She wanted to stand out, and I go, no, Karen, you have to stay under here. You can't get killed by lightning. And there was one bolt that came down, and it just missed this one fuchsia tree that Mom had, and hit the ground, and the ground shook. And luckily the lightning did not travel or anything, but it was just a little too close for comfort in many ways. And sometimes my brother-in-law was not that smart either. And I was going, they tell you, the health authorities and the weather authorities tell you not to do these things. Yet there's some stupid people that just don't listen and go out there and do it, and they risk getting killed by lightning. Well, we saw it now. I mean, there were 3 or 4 people hit by lightning. And you just don't stand under a tree. You just stand under cover under a building. Yeah. Had a family friend's horse getting killed by lightning. It stood under a tree, and part of the tree limb hit the horse and everything. But yeah, it killed the animal. Feel sorry for your cows, Nancy. They were trying to find cover. Really, they should have been in a loafing shed or, a barn or something. But yeah. And I remember hearing stories. My dad grew up on a farm. He grew up in South Dakota, and they have lightning, electrical storms. They also sometimes have tornadoes come through. And Dad always been told by his father that you get under cover, don't stand under a tree. My grandfather was smart. So, a lot of people took the risk, but you don't stand under a tree. Anyway, there anything else you guys want to discuss outside of the radical being idiots as always? Um, so anyway, Trump is trying to bring back his good old days of his popularity. But it's backfiring on him. Because right now he's in deep doo-doo with the DOJ. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Garland's got a lot of... The case is so airtight, it's not even funny. So, there's one group that one of his lawyers was trying to prevent amnesty from being public. Well, anything happens in law enforcement when it comes to crime, committing crime, felony crime, it is the public's interest. And once the case is settled, once the case is closed, then it is disclosed. Okay? Even he who shall not be named has lost a lot of support. He really has now. People are starting to wake up. They're starting to really see the light when it comes to what he who shall not be named is doing and what has done. And he also done a lot of illegal campaign violations as well. And that's why I think the Federal Elections Commission should deny him applications to run for president again. And Trump was never president. He never acted like a president. He didn't even bother to learn his job. All he did was go golf. And he didn't really do any legislative work. He didn't really know how anything worked at all. He was told things, but he just kept brushing it off. And I don't think he who shall not be named has learned any life skills at all. He probably doesn't even know how to fold clothes or wash clothes or mow lawn or fix something. He just has everything done for him. And so when people do everything for him, they're enabling him, not letting him grow up, having to fix things. Like yesterday, for example, I was able to get my quarters, do my laundry. I got my laundry done. Of course, the dryer is having issues. It's not drying clothes properly. So I had to put one load through twice to get it to dry completely. Now, some clothes I can't put in the dryer. I have to, hang dry it. Yeah, he couldn't, yeah, right, Nancy, he couldn't even close an umbrella. He has no social manners at all, none whatsoever, and President Biden does. President Biden learned from his parents, he learned from his dad and his mom, and he said, there's no excuse for poor manners. And I do love the Irish. They have a very strong work ethic. They always have. And many of us that come from Baltic states, Ireland, or UK countries, our ancestors have, and they came over here, we get those work ethics from them. Okay? It all depends on the home environment, too. And what he who shall not be named, his parents did was wrong. They did it all wrong. All they wanted to do was cheat. And that's not how things work. Okay. And there's always karma to something. There really is. Okay, well, it's almost time for me to get off the air. Hope all is well. I will see you on Wednesday. Hold on a second. Let me check my calendar here. Okay. On Friday, I should be back on time for my rant on Friday. I have to take both my cats in for their vet, one for biannual checkup and the other one for checkup on his thyroid. And look, Cyrano is not doing that well. I mean, I give him medication, but every time I give him his medication, he throws up. So I kind of really cut back, and he seemed to feel better for it. So I don't know if it's just too much medication or his body's just resisting it. So they're going to check it out and find out what's going on. So anyway, I'll keep you guys posted on that. I will have a good evening. Hope it doesn't get too hot today. Really don't. I have my fan going all the time, as you can hear. So anyway, I hope all is well, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good evening, and I will also post this video on my YouTube, and I need subscribers on YouTube. Also tell your friends who are on YouTube, Blue Dot Family, please subscribe to my channel. Okay, I'd like to get that going. I really do. So anyway, I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.